Hello and welcome to the F01-R07 Nighthawk Racing Championship. Tonight is round 7 on Valentine's Day night. So it should be a lot of memories made tonight, hopefully on the racing circuit tonight. So tonight, Suzuka, one of our personal favourites. And what can I say about this other than it is an absolute legendary track and hoping to see some legendary moments on track. So let's move forward. So let's have a look at what is going on here in the championship. Well, first off, let's go through the settings tonight. Actually, we'll do that. Here's the settings up on screen. This is what we'll be racing under tonight. Excuse me while my Xbox seems to be making lots of noises. That is irritating. Hopefully that will go away shortly. And otherwise, here is the format for the race. Tonight we will be starting with the sprint race at 8:30, which is a 15-minute time session with reverse championship order. So that's one to look out for, one that should be a lot of fun. Second session tonight will be the qualifying, which will take place around about 8:45, 8:50 for the actual race itself, forming the actual grid for the race itself. Followed by, very, very swiftly, the feature race, which will be 27 laps at that legendary Suzuka circuit. So something to look out for. Points are as follows on screen. And it will be 3 points for qualifying, as you can see, for the first place, 2 for second, and 1 for third. 2 points will be awarded for the drivers of both fastest laps in each race, each sprint and the feature race. The sprint race is 20 down to 2 points from 1st to 14th, and the feature race is 40 points to 1st down to 4 for 14th. Let's have a quick look at the championship order. At the moment, we see that Swizzy's sitting on top on 368 points, with KD the Kai sitting in second, Mac Manley in third, Pedro in fourth, Sim Race Dude in fifth, and so on, all the way down to 19th with Chef. There's a lot of bods here that are going to be looking for the best race of the season. Last time out in the sprint race, we had KD the Kai's first victory of the season in the sprint, with Deadline second, a nice surprise second, and absolutely took the Nürburgring by storm. But Manley in third with a well-deserved podium. In the feature race, we saw KD the Kai pick up his also first feature race win of the season, holding off Swizzy. KD the Kai on a bold one-stop strategy for that race, with Manley again in third. So an all-round good week for all three drivers there. Drivers-wise, what can be said about all of our drivers here? Big crazy Bertie. We know exactly 3 things about him. His name is Bertie, he's big and he's crazy, but he's doing well out on track, so always a pleasure to have him here. We have Coach, who is in today subbing for a couple of drivers who are out sick or unavailable to attend, and he has shown very, very well in the season so far, so it's a pleasure to have him on track again. Deadline, absolutely surprising and bringing us the best he could in that RX Vision in Nürburgring. Very difficult to overtake for more than one reason, but absolute legend on track, and we want to see more from him. Next, we have KD the Kai, as previously mentioned, picked up 2 very, very strong victories in the last event. And quite frankly, he's going to be looking for some autonomous Ultra Instinct here today at Suzuka to give him yet another win. Next up, Koulios. What can be said about Koulios? Devastatingly fast, but needs to work on that consistency a little bit. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm hoping he's going to have a nice, strong race today, and he deserves a very good result. Next up, Lee. An absolute surprise of the season so far. Very, very consistent and absolutely amazing on track so far. Come out of absolutely nowhere to give us some future highlights. Next up, Manley, one of the legends of the GT7 community. Pleasure to have him on board, and we're not actually sure if he's 17 or 18. I think even he's a bit unsure, so we'll have to find that one out going forwards. But at the end of the day, a young racer, very fast and consistent beyond his years. Nick, absolutely brilliant to have him on board. Wonderful to see him competing in these races, getting better with every race. Keep going, man. Next up, one of our admin in Pedro, who has outshone that Genesis every single race he's had a chance to do it. So keep going, dude, and we hope to see some more podiums, at very least a top 5 from yourself. Keep it going. Followed very rapidly by our own co-founder to Nighthawk Racing, Sarah Hawkey. Only 22 years old, but wise beyond her years, and hopefully not having a spinnerami in this one. Sim Race Dude, another legend of the track and of the GT7 community, always pulling out great performances in that Aston Martin V12, well beyond where it should be on the track. Back on the wheel again, I believe. Next up, Stephen, who's definitely done well in this. He's come from TTR, raced alongside myself and the other rest of the Roblox team, and is showing good and steady improvement. Hopefully he'll get a personal best this race. And what can be said about the legends? That is Swizzy, the well, I can't say absolute legend any more times, but Swizzy himself, he is the market in which the other drivers are chasing. Is he going to... He might even be able to take the outright championship victory today if Katie Dakai can't stay within range of him. So, something to look out for, and definitely the one to beat. Right, just as we prep to get the race underway, I'm going to go back onto highlights for just a moment, and then it will be straight into the sprint race. Okay, we are here with the sprint race and we are about to get going. So, we have Sarah Hawkey starting on pole because this is reverse championship order, followed by Coach, followed by Deadline, Steven, then Deadline, then Big Crazy Bertie, Lee and Sim Race Dude for the top 8. The rest of the fast runners like Swizzy and Katie the Kite are at the back. So, Sarah will go into turn 1, commanding the lead on this one. We're going to have Coach going straight for the move, straight into turn 1, with Koulios going around the outside. Good daring move there from Koulios so far. What is going on with the guys at the back at the moment? We have Swizzy still carrying on. Nick is unfortunately off at the moment, but he will keep going. Swizzy still in P12. Katie Kai making a move. I think that was Steven off. Let's see if we can catch that on replay. So Steven off into what looked like turn 3. Unfortunately, we've missed that, but he was going through the gravel into turn 3. Going back to the front. Coach has taken the lead. Let's catch that one on replay. No, he's already gone through quite a long way away ago. So, Coach taking a commanding lead. Deadline second. Koulios in third. Lee in fourth going into second part of Degner. Followed by Mac, Sarah, Simrace Dude, Swizzy already up to 8. Followed by KD the Kai. Nick is in 10th with Steven recovering. Pedro's heading off somewhere as well, and so is Big Crazy Bertie. So there has been an accident somewhere in the beginning of the second part of the second sector of the first lap. Coach looks like he's streaking away at the front, chased by Deadline in that RX Vision. Going to keep an eye on Koulios. Looks like he might be trying to go for the move. I think we may have seen Sarah drop a few places there. Let's see if we can see what happened there. Yeah, coming out of the hairpin, it looks like Swizzy, KD the Kai, and maybe Sim Race Dude at the same time have all had a move on Sarah. Mac in P9 at the moment, currently sitting in third in the championship, trying to make his way back up towards the front. But right up front, Coach looking imperious out there in that Genesis, followed by Deadline coming into Casio, Koulios, Lee. Slightly further back, Swizzy up to P5, KD the Kai, Sim Race Dude, Sarah Hawkey, McManley chasing Sarah in P9, followed by Pedro, Steven and Casio. I'm going to watch that one coming through to turn 1. 12th, Big Crazy Bay, and Nick coming around 130R into Casio in 13th. Right, let's have a look, see what McManley's doing at the moment. Nope, still chasing down, and it looks like Pedro has broken away from Steven. It looks like Steven is running with some rear end damage. That's going to be affecting his top end speed and aero. If we can find a corresponding driver with front end damage, I think we might have a sense of what happened in there. But we do have Lee with some front end damage running in P4. That will be hindering, especially through this first very, very twisty sector rather. So, but he's on the back of Koulios. It looks like he's still going for it. But they're going to have to absolutely get a Swizzy on here, because here comes Swizzy in P5, followed by Katie the Kai, both looking to make it to the end without a pit stop. But we do have Swizzy running medium tyres for the sprint race, so he looks like he thinks that tyre wear is going to become a real issue at the end of this 15-minute race. So Katie the Kai was on the soft tyres. He's going to be wanting to get past Swizzy very, very quickly. Sim Race Dude always outperforming that Aston Martin V12. But looking out front, Coach, he's broken away from Deadline, nearly 2.5 seconds now. Deadline we know is fantastic at defending, but he's going to have another fast RX Vision directly behind him, and Lee as well. But it does look like Dread might, or Koulios as we know him, is gone for the medium tyres, so he's predicting a fall off in tyre wear as well. But he's going to have to contend with the very, very fast Lee on soft tyres, particularly down to the Casio. Let's see what we can... if we can see him move down into the Casio triangle. Not this lap, says Koulios. But it looks like Koulios has gone a little bit wide. Lee's going to be earlier on the power, but he's still carrying that aero damage, so that is going to hurt him. We'll see if that makes a move down into turn 1. Somewhere, Katie the Kite has gotten past Swizzy. Let's see if we can catch that on replay. Was that down to the Casio? No, it looks like it was just before the 130R. But Lee still trailing. Koulios seems to be bottling up people behind him now. He's going to have Katie the Kai for company on soft tyres. Swizzy, the ever-fast Swizzy, and the Sim Race Dude. Followed by McManley in P8, who's gotten into P8 past Sarah And so has Pedro, who goes a bit off into coming out of turn 1 into turn 2. Followed by Stephen, who looks like to be doing exactly the same. That's not the line you wanted to follow, my man. Followed by Sarah in P12, who may have kept up her spin record, unfortunately. Nick in P13, still making his way around, but showing ever good improvement. Keep going, Nick. We'd love to see you. So out front, Coach coming into the hairpin. Let's go on board with him for a little while. In the hairpin nicely, touching the inner apex, coming out of the hairpin at full throttle. No traction control. It's all done by foot and hand. No AI help here. Coming into spoon. A little bit wide on the entry. Tucks it in nicely for the second part. And is going to get a good drive down the back straight to the 130R. But he's still being followed by Deadline, who has now pegged the gap at just 2.7. So the gap is not increasing as much as it used to. Somewhere we have lost Lee completely, who was on the back of Koulios, but now has Swizzy for company. So I think we've lost Lee and Katie the Kai somewhere. But I expect Swizzy to be making a move down to the Casio, all down to turn 1. Both of these guys running medium tyres, going for the slightly longer tyre life for the sprint. Katie the Kai isn't too far back, but three and a bit seconds, but considering he was ahead of Swizzy, that is going to be a big detriment to catch him up again. So here we go. Swizzy making a move down to turn 1. Just like Kimi Räikkönen did in 2005 on Fisichella. Swizzy up to P3. Now that is going to be a podium finish for Swizzy. And those tyres look like they will make it to the end. But he's now going to go after Coach and Deadline. But he's going to have to... Koulios is also going to have to fend off Katie the Kai and Simrace Dude, who are coming at him. And also Manley. Quieter race for Pedro so far. Sitting in P8. But he now has Lee for company. But as we do know, Lee has that front end damage. But he also has a half-second penalty from somewhere. So either a quick trip across a track limit or a incident there that has been unseen by us. But followed by Big Crazy Bertie. And that McLaren, despite not being the fastest car in the world, is very good on tyre life. Those soft tyres should get to the end as well. So he's going to become a big problem for Lee and Pedro respectively, I feel. P11, we still have Stephen circulating with that rear end damage, followed by Sarah in the other 911, who will have more tyre life towards the end, I feel. And I feel that's going to be a battle to keep an eye on. So Koulios down to 4th place at the moment. Swizzy has got away from him, but he's now got Katie the Kai for company. Only 1.9 seconds behind and closing. But he's also bringing Simrace Dude with him on those medium tyres. So I can only imagine that Simrace Dude is going to be a threat for Katie the Kai in the remaining laps, because those soft tyres are only 8 minutes into the race, are starting to looking fairly worn out, with Simrace Dude's looking almost brand new, so the grip levels are going to be changing between those two cars. But always keep an eye on them. Manley still coming at the pair of them. Does look like the race is settling down now. It looks like we are going to have Coach streak away with the victory, running a purple and what looks like Red Bull inspired livery. But here we go. This is the battle on track in a moment. Swizzy and Deadline in the first sector. Very hard to pass around here. Swizzy hitting the inside curves. Deadline just parking it on the apexes. There's no way to get around these corners unless you absolutely dive bomb it. Coming around the Dunlop curve into Degner 1. This is where you have to absolutely thread the needle with these cars. Deadline looked like he touched a little bit of grass there, but got away with it. He's going to have Swizzy for company with him. It does look like Deadline's tyres are going to be starting to cry very, very soon. It looks like he's gone for the soft side and gone wide into the hairpin. But we do know that RX Vision is very, very good on the straights and traction. But that GTR isn't exactly a slouch, and it's driven by Swizzy. He's going to be coming at him down into Spoon. Round the outside. Not today, says Deadline. Swizzy does run a bit wide onto those rumble strips, but enough space was left. We've got KD the Kai on the back of Koulios as well. It looks like he's going to be setting up a move into 130R. Going back forwards again. Let's check out what Swizzy and Deadline do. Into 130R. Swizzy has a quick look, tucks back in. No move there this time. KD the Kai does go for it into 130R. Ooh, and Koulios does run a little bit wide. I think that was a safe move. Let's have a look at that again. So we've got Koulios on the outside, KD the Kai on the inside, on the soft tyres. No contact made, and Koulios just runs wide. It's hard enough to go through there by yourself, let alone with someone next to you. Koulios having a good race at the moment, only 8.5 behind Coach. And considering Coach started essentially at the front of the field, that is a very, very good showing from Koulios, who's also on the medium tyre, worth adding, with Coach on the soft. But now Koulios is going to have to look backwards again because he's got McManley and SimRace2 both coming at him. Pedro again having a quiet race at the moment, down to P8 after a lap 1 excursion, but will be looking to make it up for the feature race. Big Crazy Bertie doing his thing, being big, being crazy, and being Bertie. Looks like Lee is now starting to suffer with that front end damage. You can see the tyres at the front particularly just starting to shred. And it looks like Stephen is suffering with a similar problem. At least not suffering lag this week as he did last week. Same goes with a lot of the other drivers. But he's got Sarah for company, only 1.6 behind. She's going to be looking to take out the other 911 driver to be the lead Porsche driver. So KD the Kai at front. We can see Swizzy and Deadline still going at it. Round spoon this time. Deadline has the inside and the better traction and the higher top speed, so he's just going to have to hold Swizzy off until the 130R. Swizzy is going to force Deadline close to the corner. This is going to narrow Deadline's entry into the corner. Little bit of a tap. I think Swizzy will give that up. Let Deadline take that one. But now you can see KD the Guy, who's now joining the mobile circus that is Deadline and Swizzy. Now Deadline's going to have to be very careful here because he's going to be defending from one and not know the other GTR is coming at him. Looks very much like a Death Star trench run going through there with all those flashing boards. KD the Kai going down the inside of Swizzy into turn 2. Yeah, he's going to try and use that soft tyre traction to get alongside, but Swizzy defends into the next corner at the start of the S's. So here we go. One goes left, the other goes left. One goes right, the other goes right. Each car into each apex of this corner. Nowhere to pass them, just got to follow each other. Ooh, KD the Guy absolutely struggling with those tyres, and still 2 minutes left to go, so still another lap and a half, I would believe. So his tyres are going to be shredded by the end of it. They can't be as bad as Deadline's. Oh, yes, they are. But Swizzy down into Degner too. That's an ambitious, very audacious move, and he gets it done coming through Degner too. He had to make that move quick because KD the Guy was right with him, and they are championship rivals. But I feel even Swizzy cannot catch Coach, who is out front at the moment, still with a lap and a half to go in a 6-second buffer. Swizzy has gotten past Deadline through the first sector. Absolutely ambitious move and well done. But watch out, that doesn't mean Deadline is going to give up, particularly with that higher top speed. Swizzy does run a little bit wide and a little bit sideways coming through Spoon. He's trying to put that traction down, and it's not quite worked out. He's going to have Deadline all over the back of him come the Casio triangle. But Deadline's also got KD the Kai for company. On board with KD the Kai. Coming through 130R. There goes Swizzy. There goes Deadline. It looks like the soft tyre runners are starting to suffer and can't stay with each other through the high-speed corners now. Deadline's going to run wide through Casio. He's going to come back wide. Oh, that's a tricky rejoin there for Deadline. But I think KD the Kai is going to get past him. He has. So, it looks like Deadline a little bit over-ambitious into Casio. Has run out of tyres. Has run out of luck, but just behind. Now this is going to be the battle for me. McManley, Koulios, SimRace Dude for P5. Final lap, here we go. Let's see what these three can give us. Coming in through the first corner. But Manley squirreling around, trying to put that traction down on these medium tyres. These three all have medium tyres on. It does look like some of the cars could have got away with soft tyres, but you don't know until you try. It looks like Deadline has dropped off completely. His front tyres are absolutely stuffed. He's losing time absolutely everywhere to the chasing pack behind him. So he's going to be suffering by the time they get round to the final corner. So maybe the mediums were the right call. You can see Koulios, he's catching his car teammate in effect, and he's probably going to be passing before the end of the lap. You can just see Deadline has no front grip, followed by Koulios, Manley and Simrace Dude all together. They're all chomping at the bit for another place. And it looks like KD Kai's got much the same problem. No front tyres left. And as we see Swizzy getting past Nick. Good job there by Nick. It looks like Coach has lost 2 or 3 seconds to Swizzy, but I think it's going to be too late for that one. Back to the fight behind. Here we go. I think we're going to see Koulios take 4th place off Deadline, but he's got Mac for company, who's got the slipstream as well. So this is going to be a 3-way battle between Koulios and the United boys. Into the 130R for the final time. Deadline makes it through. Koulios just about keeps it within the limits. Well done, Nick, for keeping out of the way. Manley and Deadline. Oh, big crash into the final sector. The 2 RX Visions having a big collision, allowing Manley and Simrace Dude. We have seen Coach take the win, followed by Swizzy, KD Kai with no front tyres. Manley in 4th. Simrace Dude picking up P5. Deadline with massive damage going from P4 down to P6, followed by Koulios, followed by Pedro. A quiet race for Pedro, but still some solid points. Big Crazy Bertie in that McLaren picking up a solid 9th. Lee is already finished with that damage, and so have the other 2 911 drivers and Nick. Ooh, that was an interesting end to the race, wasn't it? Woo! I don't know about you, but I think I need a rest after that one. Woo! Right. Okay, let's prepare for the next race. What a hell of a race. Whew, I need a rest after that one. Well done, guys. Well done. But for the victory, we do have, and I'll bring this up on screen in a moment. Okay, we do have Coach who takes the win, 2.7 ahead of Swizzy, followed by KD the Guy with no front tyres, but still a P3. But Manley lucking into a P4 there with the incident at the end, jumping 2 positions. Simrace Dude, again, same bit of luck, but you make your own luck in this. Maybe not the fastest car on the grid, but definitely consistent as anything and punching well above his weight in that Vantage. Deadline, unfortunate to drop. What's seen 5 places and about 2 laps there, but that's the risk you take with the sprint race and going for the soft tyres. Koulios, what can be said? It was a great drive right up into the final corner, my man. So unlucky there, but still rewarded with a 7th place. Pedro, can't say it again? Well, I will. Another quiet race, but after a first lap incident, which will be one for the stewards, I have no doubt. But, however, still rewarded with an 8th place. Big Crazy Bertie in that McLaren, P9. Lee carrying that front end damage, P10. Sarah did, in fact, get past Stephen in the end to be the lead 911 driver. Stephen P12 and Nick in P11. Again, he's showing great improvement every race. Keep going, man, and keep racing. We love to see it. Right, on to qualifying for the feature race. Whew. Right, bear with me while I have a 30-second break and we'll get back into it. Okay. Right. Qualifying is just about to get underway for this feature race. So let's get all prepared. And while the drivers are about to go around, I will bring you some information on this circuit. We're going to go on board with McManley for this one. Let's bring him up on screen. So while he's going around, you can view McManley's perspective of this track. So today's track is the renowned and driver favourite track of Suzuka in its modern F1 configuration. It is a clockwise figure-of-8 track stretching 3.6 miles or 5.8 kilometres, featuring many challenging and legendary banked or sweeping fast corners such as Spoon, 130R, in the final sector alone, let alone Dunlop and Degner. The track has been host to all Formula racing on both 2 and 4-wheel categories, from superbikes, GT cars, supercars, Super Formula and Formula 1, as we all well know. In summary, Suzuka is going to offer a real challenge to our F01-R07 drivers over the next hour or so of racing, as it promotes close racing and often creates conditions for drivers where mistakes are possible, especially through Degner 1 and 2 and that Casio triangle as we saw in the sprint race. My personal favourite moment of this track is when Kimi Raikkonen took the victory from P17 on the grid in 2005 at the Japanese Grand Prix, and he took the lead from Fisichella on the final lap into turn 1. What a memorable moment. But this track hosts many other moments from it, and that's just one of my personal favourites. I'm really looking forward to see what our F1-R07 drivers are going to do in the feature race. It's going to be a lot more about strategy compared to the sprint. However, as we saw in the sprint, even that, with the tyre life, you've got to choose your battles correctly. So, let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick talk about some of our drivers. We've got Mac, who's on screen at the moment, who has done very well and picked up some very well needed points in that last race. But I'll tell you what, let's stay on board with him. Down into turn 1. Where's he going to brake? Round about the 50-metre marker, down into turn 1. Hits the apex, goes to the outside curbing, back into the apex on the inner side, and drifts back out to the outside curbing. It's very much left followed by right, followed by left, followed by right in this sector. But you have to absolutely nail every little bit of curbing, every little bit of AstroTurf, and not overdo it. If you run wide, you run those marbles. Particularly coming around Dunlop here, if you run wide in that gravel trap, and what's in that gravel trap? A barrier. So you do not want to be going off there. But heading up to one of the trickiest sections on the track as far as I'm concerned, Degner 1. Flick it into the right, hit that curb, out to the left, back to the right again for Degner 2. If you get it wrong through here, you're in a gravel trap, a barrier, or the wall, or the bridge in this case. Carry on going down to the hairpin, right the curbing, brake late, down to the right and then flick it to the left. Follow the curbing round, hard on the power, down one of the curves. It's not really a straight, but heading down one of the back curves, down towards Spoon. Now this is where you can lose and gain a lot of time on this track. If you brake too late, you're going off onto that runoff and there is no grip out there. Nice line there from Mac so far on those medium tyres. Bringing it round, nice and early on the power, over the curbing, beautifully. Down the back straight, powering down the back straight. Heading towards that 130R, named for the radius of the corner. And hello to Flawed, who's in the chat, by the way. Good to see you, buddy. Through the 130R, keeps going. Absolutely flat out down to Casio. Flick it right. Flick it left, over that curbing. Early on the power, second gear. Boom, there you go. Now don't do what Glock did and end up in the barrier over there. Keeps it tight to the wall. And a 2-minute 0.7. Good little bit of racing there from Mac so far, but he's still 6 cents down on Swizzy, who is also on the medium tyre. So let's have a look, see what the other guys are doing. Coach into P3. Kulos P4, Lee P5. We've had Keenan Dekai go up to P2, who I'm guessing, yeah, he's also running the medium tyre. So it looks like we have a lot of drivers taking the medium tyre so far. And hello to it's Mags, or Tom, as we know him. And not too bad here, my man. Good to see you. Thank you for the follow the other day. We're on our 7th round of the F1 RST Championship, and as you can see at the moment we have qualifying underway, which is this rule set as you will see on screen now. So it is underway. It's a 10-minute low tyre wear, but same for ×3 for fuel, just to keep the drivers interested, allow them to put in laps and go faster and faster. But it will be very closely followed up by our feature race, which will be 27 laps at the Suzuka circuit. So back to the track action. We've got Swizzy out front. 2 tenths clear of KD the Kai at the moment. We've just had Simrace Dude set a 201.7, so that's not a bad little lap into P5. That's very, very respectable. And we have Pedro, who's yet to set a time, coming through the 130R, down into Casio, hard on the brakes. Clips the curb nicely. Clips the other side nicely, early on the power. Yep, there we go. Come around the final corner, stays in the middle of the track. So a very respectable time. But looks like, yep, 201.6. That just goes slotting just ahead of Simrace Dude. So P5, very, very respectable. Let's have a look at what Big Crazy Bertie's doing at the moment. Coming through Degner 1, heading down to that hairpin. Swizzy has gone even faster. Let's see what Katie the Kai is doing. He's backing off, coming through the Casio. Looks like he's making himself some room. Mac is going on his 3rd attack lap and very squiggly. Let's see that again. Very squiggly coming into turn 1. Late on the brakes. Back end. Oh, the back end and the front end were just fighting each other in that AMG there. But he kept his foot on it, so well done. Well done there, Mac. He's going to be wanting a nice smooth lap to extract the most time possible. Or perhaps I'm lying because he's 9 thousandths up at the moment. Deadline has gone into P5 with a 201.1. That RX Vision handling very well at the moment. But let's see what KD the Kai is doing. Coming around Degner 2, followed by McManley. So I can only presume one either, because I thought they were further apart on track. Sarah of 2042. Maybe Swizzy's taking this one as a bit of a cool down lap. We can see just behind we have Koulios and Coach. That's a mouthful, that one, isn't it? Side by side, coming out of the hairpin. So either, hopefully, Koulios lets Coach go because he's higher up the rankings at the moment, or they can find some space between them. Let's have a look, see what Swizzy's doing. Is he going to be setting a purple time, heading up towards the final sector? There are 4 sectors on this track rather than 3, so we should get a time in being many seconds. He's down. Mac. He's up, but he's still going to be running P3 with that one. Pedro, 201.2, stays 6th, and he's going to be going on to possibly his final lap now. So keeping an eye on Swizzy. Is he going to go any faster than a 159.6? And that is rapid, especially on medium tyres. No, not this lap. Mac is improved by 4 tenths of a second, up to a 2-minute lap 0.4. Coach, that's almost exactly the same. A 2-minute 0.4, but we're going to have... Oh, we've got these two absolutely stuck together. They're going to be starting to slow each other down now. This is going to be their final lap. They haven't got time to do a reset and go again. So these two... Oh, Koulios is off. Okay, that gives Coach room. But if Koulios can stay with him, so far he is on a 201.9. If he can stay with him, he still might improve, especially if you can get a slipstream down the main straight. So final lap for most of these jokers out there. Swizzy into Degner, committed as always, followed by KD the Kai. No, sorry, followed by McManley. Yep, these guys on their last lap. KD the Kai is going purple in the first sector. He's throwing that gauntlet down. Looks like he had pitted for fresh tyres. Well, the tyre wear is just so low, it's not visible. But this is where the fight for pole position is going to be. Remember, there are points for the top 3 in qualifying. Surprising we haven't seen any drivers out there. Well, Coach has actually gone for the soft tyre, but that Genesis isn't hooked up around here. So he might be able to steal a podium for qualifying and a point or 2. But we have to keep an eye on that and see what he does coming across the line. So we've got one driver coming through the Casio now. Let's see if I can spot who that is. That is Pedro on his final lap, potentially. He might just cross the timing beam with a couple of seconds to go. Yeah, he does. He gets another lap. He's going to want to as well because he's still got time left in him, I'm sure. Right, Swizzy comes out the final corner, followed by Max. So this is going to be a drag to the line. Will this be pole position for Swizzy? Goes faster, 59.3. McManley. Oh, 59.7 goes P2. So it now goes down to Katie Nakai, who is in the final sector, who was going purple as we saw earlier on. Again, on those medium tyres. Simrace Dude has given up and he's gone into the pits. He's P7 and Lee P8. So Katie Nakai. Oh, he does go quicker. But that is P3. 4 tenths off Swizzy. How about that? Okay, Coach can't go any faster. He has finished his lap. So I believe that it's just going to be Deadline who's still out there. He had a terrible lap last lap. He goes across the line. Goes close to the wall, across the line. Does it go from 6th? Stays 6th. So Lee's finished. Kulios finished. Big Crazy's Bertie's finished. Sarah's still out there. And unfortunately having a moment. She's not going to be happy I caught that, but let's see that again. Coming down to the 130R, gets on the Astro. The rear tyres light up, and unfortunately, a little bit of a nerf into the barrier. Looks like Rex is eating the barrier on that one. So I think that is it for the laps, unless we can just see Pedro go on board with him. 130R, unfortunately we just saw Sarah just losing it coming through here a moment ago. Not quite flat, did have to take a little bit of a lift through 130R into Casio. Runs a little bit wide at the first part, does hook it up on the second. Hard on the throttle, will he keep it tight to the corner? Yes he does. Will this be a personal best 2-minute one to beat? No. Does look like that Genesis is struggling here today. Okay, so that gives us our feature race grid. Okay, so in P1 we have Swizzy, followed by Mac, Katie Nakai, Coach, Pedro, Deadline, Simrace Dude, and Lee rounding out their top 8. Kulios takes P9, Big Crazy Bertie takes P10, with Stephen and Sarah taking P11 and 12 respectively. The 911s locking out that row of the grid, followed by Nick, who again is improving every time we see him, and it's always a pleasure to have him here. So, on to the race. Let's give him a moment or two break, and then we will go straight into it. So let's bring up the rule set for this race, just so everyone has a reminder quickly. So it's going to be 27 laps. All drivers have to use the tyres they set their fastest lap in qualifying on. So they set it on mediums, they're going to have to race the first stint on mediums. And also they have to use 2 different compounds of tyre, which can be whatever tyre you qualify on. Say it was the medium, you then have to use a soft for at least one stint. You're quite right, it does say 29 laps. I will actually have to reset that. Bear with me a moment while I just put the highlights on, so bear with me a momentino. Okay, here we are, ready for the race. Sorry about the delay. Okay, we have on pole Swizzy, followed by Mac, Katie the Guy, Coach, Pedro, Deadline, Sim Race Dude, and Lee for the top 8. 5 lights on. Oh, Coach possibly with a false start, but Swizzy and Mac get going for it. Let's see if Coach... I think he might have got away with that, but he's going to be slow in the mid-pack there. So out front, we have Swizzy and Mac going for it into turn 1. Mac up into P1, holding off that raging GTR at the moment. Followed by Katie the Kai, Pedro up to P4, Deadline P5, Sim Race Dude, Lee, Kulios and Coach, who's going to be absolutely ruining that potential full start. But he managed to get it under control just in time. So somewhere out the back, I think we might have lost Sarah. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe had a spin or a moment on the starting grid, but is running last in P13 at the moment. But out front, Swizzy getting past Mag into Degner 2. What a move that was. Let's see that one again. Swizzy down into Degner 2. Absolutely amazing bit of a driving there from the pair of them. I mean, it's hard enough to get one car through there, let alone two. So well done for both drivers. At the moment, we have Swizzy heading up towards the spoon corner, followed by Mac. All of these guys on medium tyres at the moment, looking to go longer into the race. Followed by Pedro, Deadline, and Sim Race Dude. I'm going to keep an eye, particularly on Deadline, because that straight line speed of that RX Vision is insane. Just behind, in 7th, we have Lee being challenged by Steven. Let's go on board. He's going up to the 130R. This is going to be tight coming through here. Staying on board with Steven. Side by side. This is going to be a hell of a move. Oh, gets a little bit squiggly on the exit of it, and Kulios has let through it, and so has been Bertie up into Casio. That's an unfortunate thing when you don't commit to the move. Sometimes you... Oh, Bertie's gone wide. When you don't commit to the move, sometimes you end up off the track. And unfortunately, I think the same has happened to Bertie there, who's found a little bit of an escape road. So out front, Mac is challenging from that lead again. So he's having to hold him off. But we're going to see as this race progresses, tyre wear is going to become a real issue around here, as we saw with the sprint. We do know that the soft tyres would do about 14 to 15 minutes, with the mediums probably a bit longer, 20 to 25. So at the moment, maybe we can see Mac just pressurising Swizzy to make him wear out those front tyres. Katie the Kai keeping a watchful eye in third. I can only imagine he's going to be doing his best just to stay with Swizzy, stay with Mac, and hope that they are just not going to pull away from him. Katie the Kai is going to want to save those tyres so he can push a little bit later on in that stint. One thing he's had this season is very good tyre wear. He's had a little bit of bad luck when it comes to incidents, but as we can see at the moment, it does look like Swizzy has gotten away from Mac a little bit in that sector. Mac with the better tyre wear, but the lower pace, it would seem, is bringing, unfortunately, the KD the Kai with him. He's going to be looking for Autonomous Ultra Instinct to get past him. And if you don't know what that means, watch a Dragon Ball episode. Or specifically Dragon Ball Super. Right, just behind we have Pedro at P4, running much higher than what he did in the sprint race. But he's going to be very, very wary of that pink RX Vision behind him. And to the point he's absolutely chasing down that Genesis at the moment. Genesis is not slow in a straight line, just the RX Vision is absolutely insane in a straight line, as we saw particularly at the high speed ring. So it's going to be whoever gets the best exit out of the Casio. At the moment, I do feel that was Pedro. He's gotten away nicely. But that slipstream is going to bring Deadline with him, but probably not by the first corner on this lap. Let's have a look, see what's going on with Mac and Katie the Guy. They spaced out a little bit now. Sim Race 2 keeping a watchful eye in 6th, with Kulios, who might be experiencing some lag, in 7th. That might be why we had a problem with Sarah earlier on. Coach has got Steven for company, but Coach is running a lot lower than what we thought he would, particularly after winning in that sprint race, but you can't always have it your way. Big Crazy Betty doing a Kimi Raikkonen and just exploring the track, it would seem, but he has now just let our official racing driver Lee through into P10. Sarah with the 911 Rexy into turn 1. That car does look beautiful. We can thank Pedro, who is one of our admins, who has done the livery for that one and a lot of cars in this race. Particularly one like Nick's there, who is racing it with absolute pride. So out from Swizzy, coming round the long banked right-hander, heading towards the spoon corner. Looking like he's meant to be there. Followed by McManley and Katie the Kai, who now seem to be holding station a little bit, just staying ahead of Pedro, who has got very decent tyre wear, considering that Genesis is a bit of a monster when it comes to... Oh no, we've just seen Mac lose a position. So let's see if we can catch that on replay. So what happened here to Mac? He's coming into Spoon, touches the curb. Yeah, runs a little bit wide. He's on that Astro. He did well to hold that, in all honesty. He did absolutely amazing to hold that. Because I've seen other drivers end up in the barrier and out of the race through doing that. But I'm going to complete what I was going to say, that the Genesis is a bit of a monster on its tyres. He's doing well to progress as far as he has done so far. But he's now got Deadline for Company, who I think at some point Pedro has been held up a little bit by seeing Mac in front of him. And now, here we go. He's got Deadline for Company, only 3 tenths down. That'll be a hell of a lunge from there. I'm not going to be too surprised right now if a lot of these drivers are just taking their time and letting the race bed itself in at this point. Just not going for anything too dramatic. This is a long race. It's 27 laps. And it's going to be quite physical. Particularly if you're on a wheel with direct drive. So it's calmed down a bit now. All the drivers have spaced out a little bit. And we've got no massive fights, although I don't think Mac is going to let Katie the Kai get away. So keep an eye on that one. And also keep an eye on these two as well, who've also got Sim Race Dude for Company, who I would imagine, and I would definitely think he's got the better tyre wear out the guys in front. Oh, as we saw, Coach just take a position off Koulios, opportunistically down to the hairpin. Let's see that on board. Yep, unfortunately he's got past Koulios into the hairpin, so that is loss of a position, but good racing from the pair. But again, that arc vision is very quick in a straight line, so Coach is going to have to definitely lean on those soft tyres to make sure he gets away from Koulios. Heading back up to 5th and 4th. At the moment, Pedro looks like he's got the better fuel load, but he's definitely suffering with the traction compared to that RX Vision. He's still holding off Deadline down straight, but you can see how close Deadline gets under braking. Just that extra speed that Deadline can carry into some of those corners. But we do know the RX Vision will start to eat through those rear tyres eventually. So Deadline's going to be wanting to get through as quickly as possible. But just keeping a watchful eye with our Sim Race Dude. And Coach still has Koulios for company, so despite losing the position, Koulios is not letting Coach get away. So keep on driving, and maybe we'll come to you. But only a few seconds down the road, Stephen, who again has come on leaps and bounds since we first raced with him, racing in 9th at the moment and doing well. Lee always shows up in a race, and particularly towards the end, so definitely one to watch. And despite being a few positions down where he would normally be at this time, he might be on a longer strategy, so we'll see what happens if he's on a one-stopper perhaps. Maybe he'll feature towards the end in the top 5. And at the moment, Bertie's had a little bit of a bad luck with this race. He's explored the limits, a couple of corners, and he's done it again, I'm afraid. Probably coming through Degner 1. As we can see Lee there having a bit of a moment coming out of the hairpin. And Sarah, since that opening lap, looks like has had a much more consistent race, and looks like he's going to be chasing down Big Crazy Bertie. I do like that livery on this car, I won't lie. But out the front, Katie Nakai still holding off Mac, but we can see the tyre wear is definitely in favour of Mac, but the fuel is definitely in favour of Katie Nakai. But just behind, Pedro and Deadline still fighting. Pedro's going to run wide onto the grass. That is going to be... Yeah, he's going to have to get out of that. He's going to have to let Deadline go. Let's see what they do down to turn 1. I don't think we're going to see anything. No. No, I don't think we're going to see anything there, but let's see what we can point out from Pedro's perspective. I think we've gone too far on the replay. Yeah, too far, I'm afraid. Coach in 7th at the moment. Looks like he's going to start trying to catch Sim Race Dude. He's only 5.4 behind at the moment. Definitely going quicker in this opening sector of this lap. So keep an eye on Coach. Definitely has the speed. As we saw, he picked up that win, but running very wide through Dunlop. Definitely pushing the limits there. With that little momentary lapse in concentration perhaps from Pedro, he's now 1 place down, but only just behind Deadline in that RX Vision. But he now has Sim Race Dude and that Aston Martin for company. I would rather imagine that Genesis is a bit twitchy around here, and he's suffering on particularly a long run pace. Still quick in qualifying, but unfortunately the points are handed out in the feature race, and this is where it is going to start to smart, particularly when that tyre wear starts kicking in. As you can see, his tyres already on lap 6 are halfway to the canvas, so that can't be good. It can't be feeling great. The Manleys, however, those tyres look much newer than a lot of the guys around him. At the moment, out front, we have Swizzy's making a break for it. 4.7 up, clear up front. Key the car goes a bit wide, coming out of 130R. Let's see if we can see that one again. Yep, he gets up on the curb and it basically pulls you off the circuit onto the AstroTurf. He's going to have very dirty tyres. That's going to compromise his exit out of the final corner. Yep, and then we did see McManley's got a pass. We have to say it on replay, I'm afraid. So coming out of the final corner, Mac was able to put the power down much, much earlier, and it was basically the equivalent of a DRS pass down the straight. Well done, Mac, and he says just bided his time, and he's got the position back off KD Nakai. But in the process of doing that, they have lost about a second to Swizzy, who is now starting to streak away out the front. So 6 seconds clear on the 7th lap, but his tyres, I can only feel, are going to start going off soon. So now it's Mac's opportunity to absolutely push and bring that gap down. I don't think KD Nakai is going to have an answer for Mac either. This trio behind, I think this is where the race is going to be for this feature race, for this F1 RST race. We still have Pedro, who has lost position to Deadline, who now nearly gets it back up the inside of the hairpin as Deadline goes very deep into the corner and then wide out of it. But Pedro with the awareness not to cut across onto the racing line, letting Deadline come back through. So good racing from those pair. And hopefully we can see a lot more action going forward. So we're going to go on board with Pedro and then Sim Race Dude. See, all of these guys are absolutely on the limit together, and they're only about 13 seconds off the lead. So one spin up front, and anyone who's out front is going to be in this battle with them. See, Pedro he's got a better drive coming out of Spoon. Deadline's gone wide, coming out of 130 out onto that gravel, just like KD Nakai did. Can Pedro do the same thing Matt did? Get a better exit with cleaner tyres coming out of Casio. He's going to be right on the gearbox of the RX Vision. Deadline's going to go defensive down the main straight. That's exactly what he needed to do. But Pedro's going to go wide and take the racing line. Deadline will probably join him as close to that line as possible. Squeeze him out to the side a little bit. Into turn 1. Yep, just about holds it off. It's very hard to pass that Deadline, particularly when you've got the inside. But this isn't over yet. They are going to be slowing each other down a little bit. The Sim Race Dude is going to be sitting there happy as anything, not wearing out his tyres. So you can maybe think, play the long game. This might be working out for Sim Race Dude. So out front, Swizzy 5.4. That gap is coming down ever so slightly. Looks like Mac is now coming at him a little bit. Katie Nakai's tyres have fallen off a little bit. Followed by Deadline, Pedro, Sim Race Dude coming through Degna 2. All together still. Coach looks like he's catching up, but he's going to be due a pit stop soon for some fresh rubber. So I'm going to be betting he's going to be going to medium tyres and stretch out the next stint a little bit and maybe softs again at the end. So I'd imagine a 2-stop for him. Lee coming through the Degnas now. Looks like his tyres are in better state than Coach, and he's going to start coming at him at just a little bit there. He's definitely be after another position. So back to the fight. Coming out of Spoon, Deadline gets another wider exit. It looks like he's struggling with the front end grip of that RX Vision. Pedro down the inside, heading towards 130. Let's go on board with Sim Race Dude. Get an eye view of this one. It's like Pedro, he's got it done on the back straight. Deadline looking to come it back at him. Thought better of it this time. Both have gone wide. Both going to get dirty tyres. Oh, Deadline with an absolute tank slapper coming out back onto the track. But both are going to have dirty tyres now. This could be an opportunity for our Sim Race Dude. Yep, they're also going at it. I think we're going to see Deadline going for the move down. Is he going to go down the outside? No, he's going to go. Pedro's giving them the inside. That's the last thing you need to do with that RX Vision. But, oh, both are going to run a bit wide. Deadline definitely goes off the track. He's going to struggle to get that back on the track before Sim Race Dude. Yeah, that was just a bit ambitious from Deadline. Maybe that was right from Pedro. He squeezed him a little bit into the first corner, narrowed the entrance for Deadline, and he just didn't have the ability to slow the car down when he got there. So Deadline drops from 4th to 6th in a couple of laps. He has now got Coach accompany. Round the outside of one of the S's and up towards Dunlop. Good move from Coach there. Cracking move. Let's see that one again. So you have Coach setting up 2 corners behind, gets a little bit of an undercut coming up the left-hander, follows Deadline round on the right, and then he has the inside line for the Dunlop corner. Good bit of driving there from Coach. So Pedro up to P4 with Sim Race 2 for company, who has much, much better tyres and some better fuel as well. I can only think this is a big brain racing move from our Sim Race Dude, who is now back on the wheel. I wonder if he's on a Moser like he's advertising on the side of his car. Oh, potentially a little bit of lag there from Pedro or Sim Race Dude. I'm not quite sure, but it has resulted in some damage. Let's have a look. So coming in to Spoon. Yeah, unfortunately does look like a bit of a lag incident. Or potentially maybe Pedro was slowing up for Nick, who was letting him through under blue flags. That is unfortunate no matter which way you look at it. So out front, Swizzy with almost a dead front right. There goes Pedro into the pits. So he's decided to come in now and early with that damage to get rid of those tyres. I believe he's still going to go for probably another medium tyre and then a soft at the end. But he's definitely going to have to stretch those tyres in the next stint a little bit. But at the very least he's going to get that damage fixed and then back out again very, very quickly. But Coach in as well. So there's those 2 front runners already in. So Swizzy at the moment is holding that gap to Mac despite a dead front right, but it's going to probably give up on this lap. I think Swizzy's going to need to go possibly one more lap to get in a 2-stop window. Because if those soft tyres, if those medium tyres are barely doing 10 laps, then the soft tyres I don't think will do 7 laps. So 10, 10, 7. It's going to be a bit of a stretch for that GTR. Whereas Mac, I think he's going to have the edge. He might, and I do stress might, be able to get up to about 12 laps and then do double soft to the end. Maybe KD Nakai as well, another one of our wheel drivers. But as we do know, Oh, there we go. We can see the front right tyre for Swizzy has died. So, coming around 130R, let's go on board to see how he handles this. I'd imagine he's going to be in this lap. He's going to be he's already lost half a second this lap, or 2.2 off his personal best to McManley already. Let's watch that time just come down. 3.9, 3.7. Yeah, now this is the time when Mac has got to push. 3.6, so Swizzy has lost about a second and a half, 2 seconds this lap alone. Does he come in the pits? Yes, he does. So I think this race is now coming towards Mac a little bit. The strategy is opening up, but he's going to have to make sure he keeps on it, because we're going to see Swizzy, he's going to be lightning quick as soon as he gets those fresh tyres. The sim race dude, I think he's going to be definitely be on a strategy where he can go medium, probably double soft, so he'll have more speed towards the end. But at the moment, let's see what Pedro went to. He went to soft tyres, so he's definitely trying to undercut the chasing pack behind him like Deadline and sim race dude. But he's definitely going to have to stop again, because those tyres are not going to do 17 laps, especially on that fuel load. But coming up to Lee, who also has some dead front tyres. If he hasn't put that brake balance to the back, he's going to want to do it soon, or come into the pits. And he chooses to come into the pits. But Deadline is in as well, so he is gone for a fresh set of tyres. And how much fuel will he take on board in this time? It will tell us what tyres and what strategy he's going on to. Oh, I think we've just seen Pedro take Big Crazy Bertie. Or have we just seen Big Crazy Bertie unfortunately have a bit of an incident? What's going to happen here? Has he run wide? Oh, it must have just been in passing. Deadline in the pits. But another position for Big Crazy Bertie there. So Deadline, let's have a look, see what he went to. He went to medium tyres and about 80% tank of fuel, so he's definitely going to stop again as well. So soft tyres at the end for Deadline. But he has come out behind Coach. So interesting, that the overcut definitely did not work for Deadline. So the extra lap out on newer tyres definitely helped Coach maintain that position, despite taking on more fuel. I bet Pedro's enjoying those set of soft tyres. He doesn't enjoy the mediums on this circuit. Oh, there we go. Manley in. 21% of fuel. I thought he would have gone longer, if I'm honest. But that said, he might just go for another set of mediums, minimise the time loss from the undercut from Swizzy, and then go soft to the end. But Katie the Kite is still going. That is surprising, considering that tyre is absolutely shredded now. So Swizzy coming around the final corner now. He should, I believe, come out in front of Mac, who is still refueling. Yep, there we go. Mac's still refueling. There he goes. But as we see Swizzy go by with about 3/4 of a tank of fuel, Mac is definitely taken less fuel, but he's going to have fresher tyres than Swizzy. And as we do know, that AMG is much nicer on the tyres than that GTR. So that is race on as far as I'm concerned. And one thing that happens when you take on less fuel is you have less tyre wear altogether, and you're faster. So keep an eye, particularly on Mac versus Swizzy. That's game on. At the moment, out front is Arcadia the Kai, double event winner last week with the feature race and the sprint race, but with a fairly knackered front right tyre, so he's going to be losing a lot of time with that. But I do wonder, will he be bold enough to go for hard tyres and a one-stop? Full tank, one stop to the end. If anyone has any answer to that, please feel free to put it in the chat. If you know, you'll know better than I will. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's see what Katie Kai can do through the 130R with a completely dead front tyre. As we can see, he's backing off the throttle down to 135 through there. We'll see what that is compared to Swizzy on fresh mediums in just a moment. But will Katie the Kai come in? Surely he's got to come in here. No! He does not. He says to me, you don't know nothing about strategy. Right, Swizzy. Yeah, at least 10 miles an hour faster. And again, Mac at least 5 or 6 miles an hour faster than KDK as well through there. So a little bit of analysis for you, but I can only imagine KDK might be going for that one stop, which is utterly insane around here if you ask me. I mean, he's definitely not going to be able to do it with soft tyres, but if he was going to do it with hard tyres, he should have done it already. Or maybe he's going to double stop for the soft. Who knows at this point? So, Mac, gap to Swizzy, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8. Looks like it was a bit of a... not the greatest of first corners for Mac there compared to Swizzy. Let's have a look at the moment. Going back through the field. About 9 seconds back, we have Pedro in that Genesis on those soft tyres, who is now lap 13. And he's definitely gapped Sim Race Dude. But at the moment, Pedro has a lot less fuel. He's going to be making use of those soft tyres, trying to go as long as he can and as fast as he can on those soft tyres. But Sim Race Dude playing the intelligent route, I feel. Going for the medium tyres again and a lot more fuel. So that would be double medium soft for him. Oh, somewhere we have lost Deadline, who was directly behind Coach. So a big crazy bird, he's there at the moment, nearly halfway through the race and yet to stop. So maybe we can see a one stop from the McLaren, who has Deadline for company behind him. So one would presume Deadline's had an off somewhere and it's now fallen behind Bertie. Lee going to the hard tyres and a fairly large amount of fuel. Will he go to the end? If so, that might be a way to claw back some of that time. It does look like Sarah has gotten past her prey, gotten past the Stephen, who is on soft tyres again. So I'd imagine this is a 2-stop for Stephen, 1 stop for Sarah. And Nick at the moment taking his pit stop. We have lost Koulias. I believe it was due to lag at some point. And Nicky says he is retiring due to a headache, which is absolutely fair, man. Thank you for turning up. It is a pleasure having you here. And if you're not fit to race, that is more than fair. Please stick in the pits just so that we can not have a lag spike. Just turn it off at the end of the race. Thank you very much, man, if you can at all. But Katie Kai out front. He's gone for another lap. Again, thank you very much, Nick. How was it for you out there? What are the conditions like? But Katie the Kai still circulating on those medium tyres. I don't know why he just didn't qualify on the hard tyres at this point. But there we go. That's the front left, front right, both dead. He's 2 seconds down in that sector alone. Let's see what Swizzy's doing. He set a fastest lap of the race of a 1:59.5. So, somewhere, I think Mac definitely had a bit of a slow lap on that one. He's lost 3 seconds to Swizzy. Somewhere on there. So that is unfortunate for him. He was looking very, very good to challenge Swizzy. I can only imagine... Could KD Kai be going long enough to entertain the possibility of soft tyres to the end? If he's going to do that, he's going to have to get up to round about lap 17 or 18, and that's surely not possible. Let's see what he does. Coming through the Casio now. He's obviously finding some grip there. Nope, he's carrying on again. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something interesting. Nick says, sprint went okay. Feature race was struggling, a headache crept in, but not too disappointed with my pace. That is fair, man, and you've done very well. So keep doing what you're doing, and we will help you through it and help you increase your consistency and overall enjoyment. So, Nick, pleasure having you here, my dude. So, strategy-wise, this race is definitely taking a turn. I cannot really guess what KD Kai is going to do. At the moment, I did foresee the fight for first being Mac and Swizzy, but with Mac falling off the pace that last lap and Swizzy absolutely stepping on it, I think Swizzy's trying to take the race back to him. But as you can see, the tyre wear is fundamentally so much different for Mac and Swizzy, but there is an element where you have to make sure that you turn the tyres on for a stint. So maybe Mac hasn't got up to that up to that threshold yet, and City's just switched them on immediately. We have Pedro, one of our admin, in P4. Looks like he's enjoying this set of soft tyres much, much more than previously. We see Bertie finally pitting for his first and what looks like only stop of the race. Now, will he go for a full tank of fuel, or near a full tank of fuel, and soft tyres? Time will tell on that one. But I do imagine that it's possibly going to let Stephen through, but I believe he's on two-stop strategy. So has finally pitted for her first stop, and I've just seen, I think, being lapped by Katie Lakai. But at the moment, we're going to definitely spot even lap driver at the moment cruising up to the back of Katie Lakai just for not having any front grip at all. Now, will he pit this lap? Let's look at this from Sarah's perspective, one of our co-founders of the Nighthawk Racing Group. Is going to be with our leader shortly and might be able to learn a trick or two from Arcadia the Kai. He's still not pitting. He must be going soft tyres to the end. He must. This is such a unique strategy. I mean, it's something in many years of playing Gran Turismo I have never seen someone just on Suzuka of all places pushing the car to absolute limits, pushing the tyres beyond limits. I mean, by all rights, that car should have had a double punch already. So let's go on board with Sarah. You can probably see how much grip that Katie Kai doesn't have. Coming through Dunlop, up towards Degner. Well, this is a telling point of the circuit when you have no front grip. As you can see, oh, we have a spinner there. I think that is Stephen. So let's go on board. That's going to be a fight for position. I'll come back to that in a moment. So it's Stephen and Bertie having a fight coming round Dunlop into Degner. Yep, Stephen gets onto the gravel. Oh, almost held it. Little half spin. So let's see what... Yep, Stephen and Sarah still together now. Let's go on board with Sarah. Looks like a 911 Valentine's love affair in Spoon at the moment. Gotta love those 911s. 911 showing off their prestige. Here we go. Sarah with the fresher tyres and less fuel. Into the 130R, chasing down Stephen. Gets out of it for the moment. But they've got the added problem of the leader out in front of them going slower. But this is good for Katie the Kai because he's now created a buffer between him and Swizzy, who is now directly behind. So there goes Katie the Kai, finally in. So he's gone to the end of his fuel. And if you ask me, he's going to go soft tyres to the end. So Swizzy takes the lead. Let's see what's going on with that battle between Stephen and Sarah. They're going to have blue flags and Swizzy with them shortly. Swizzy coming out of turn 1 now and into the beginning of the S's. As you can see at the moment, Sarah following in the tracks of Stephen, who goes a little bit wide. That's going to open up the corner. She's going to get the cutback coming through Dunlop. And then down into Degner 1 and 2, where we saw Stephen have his issue a moment ago. Sarah thinking better of it for the moment. Swizzy catching them both. Now they're both going to be very aware for this. Pedro is in the pits in 7th for his final pit stop. I would imagine he's going for soft tyres. Going medium tyres to the end. Sarah, quick dive up the inside. Stephen getting the cutback. Good bit of racing here from these two. But they're going to have to beware. They've got the leader with them. Let's look at this one. Yep, Sarah lets Swizzy go. Very nice awareness there from Sarah. And Stephen does exactly the same. Let's go back on board with Sarah. Good racing and good etiquette from the pair of them. And that's exactly what we need to see. Both drivers aware of the leader up behind them. And, oh, Stephen running wide. Oh, let's see that again. But both drivers aware that the lead driver coming up behind them and getting out of the way. And then continuing their fight. So, beautiful bit of driving from the pair of them. Yep, Stephen just running wide onto that AstroTurf, and there's no grip out there, sir. I would imagine, yeah, I was going to say, imagine that Stephen's going to have a lot of trouble holding on to back of Sarah with those older tyres. And that'll probably be Mac. Here we go. Coming through to catch up to Stephen now as well. So he is going to have a bit between his teeth and only 6.6 seconds to Swizzy, who must have lost a little bit of time lapping Sarah and Stephen, but not too much, I would feel. It's now Mac's problem to do exactly the same. So it's a little bit of swings and roundabouts between those drivers. At the moment, let's do a quick rundown. So P1, we have Swizzy, 6.7 ahead of Mac. It looks like he's carrying a bit more fuel than Mac, but a lot higher tyre wear, so I think that's going to stabilise between the two in all honesty. So Sim Race Dude running a magnificent race in third place at the moment, still to pit for the final time and still yet to run the soft tyres. But he's looking, you know what, those tyres are looking absolutely amazing. I can only think that maybe he could have gone to double soft instead of double medium, but I'm not one to question, I'm just one to highlight a possibility. But next, Katie Dakai, who's been out in front for, I'm not going to say majority of the race, but a good proportion of it, who's now in P4 with definitely fuel that's going to take him to the end and the set in purple laps. But he's going to have to be careful because he's going to have dead tyres towards the end of the race, but as we know, he doesn't mind it. But I can only help but think that it's going to make him an absolute target at the end from Swizzy, but we'll see. So we'll see who's got the better strategy towards that. Next, P5, one of our super subs, Coach, who is an absolute legend in his own right and is doing very, very well with that Red Bull-esque livery. Again, still to pit for the final time, but followed by Deadline, one of our super subs, which has now turned into a full-time race seat with us. So he's doing well, running P6, and you can hear that RX Vision absolutely wailing around this course. But up behind in P7, a minute off Swizzy at the moment, but bear in mind Swizzy's still to pit for the final time. But Pedro has got his final stop out of the way, running a very respectable 7th place. And again, the man responsible for many deliveries that you see here tonight. And Lee, running those hard tyres, I can still only feel he's going to need more fuel to get to the end. But at the moment, he's running a very, very solid race. Maybe he's going to go for a soft stint to the end, perhaps go for the fastest lap. Top 10 in this race are eligible for the fastest lap points. He's big, he's crazy, he's Bertie, he's in P9. Running those soft tyres to the end. And that McLaren is nice and easy on tyres, so he's definitely going to be pushing hard. And I think he has a possibility of staying on the lead lap. He's about to be lapped. However, I do feel we're going to see Swizzy in soon, if not almost directly after Bertie is lapped. We'll stay with this for a moment. Actually, we'll come back to this because I have a feeling it's going to be a down the back straight. It's Sarah Hawkey running in 10th at the moment, just passed by McManley, who's running, still trying to catch up Swizzy. He's down to 6.2 on the time scale. And it looks like Stephen has taken his final pit stop, running some soft tyres. And yeah, we've just seen Lee, who's gone into the pits. He's given up on those hard tyres. And yeah, Stephen running the soft tyres, although in 11th and currently last on track, is still going to be picking up a good set of points for this race. And I feel, once Sarah pits again for our final stop, we're going to see some more action between those two. So let's have a look, see where Swizzy and Bertie are. So Bertie was P9. There we go. Well, we've got Lee in P8, sorry, who's taking his final stop now. So will he come out in front of Bertie? Bertie's going to be letting Swizzy through. There we go. And there comes Lee. Out directly next to Big Crazy Bertie. So this is going to be a fight to the end. Bertie on the soft tyres, as well as Lee, it would seem. Very similar amounts of fuel. But that McLaren, despite having older tyres, is much easier on its tyres. So we'll have to see how this plays out. This could be a very good battle going towards the end. And again, despite being lapped, I still think that, well, I know we're going to have Swizzy and Mac in again. So these two have every shot remaining on the lead lap towards the end. especially since Swizzy, his tyres are about dead. And with Lee's fresh soft tyres, we might even see Lee unlap himself. As you can see, he's getting to the back of Swizzy. The nature of this course is if your front tyres die and go off, unless your name is Katie the Kai, you will be going backwards, it would seem. Let's have a quick check in on Katie the Kai in 4th. Yep, he's set in purples. He's loving those soft tyres. Will he get them to the end? Will he do? Will he do that? So here comes Swizzy. He must be dreaming about those soft tyres. 6 seconds separate him and Mac. But Mac's, I think, going to come in on this lap. He's going to be absolutely gasping for fuel. And that's definitely going to give him an extra lap or two on those soft tyres. I wouldn't be too surprised if that gap to stay fairly stagnant between them. But I think Mac has had a very laboured exit out of Spoon. Let's see what happened there. Mac coming into Spoon. Just about hits the apex, goes to the outer curb, cuts back in. Nothing wrong there. Yep, there we go. There it is. Runs over the gravel trip, doing a Daniel Ricciardo or a Bottas at Austria, doing a bit of gardening, high-speed gardening there. There we go. Mac and Swizzy both to the bits at the same time. Swizzy with more fuel will have to stop for less time. But I do wonder, is Swizzy going to get those tyres to the end? So come the final lap, I think it's going to be a tyre puncher fest for the GTRs, with Mac close on their heels. At the moment, I think we're going to see Simrace Dude take the lead provisionally. Yes, we do indeed. So while the GTR and the AMGs are fueling up, with Katie the Kai chasing down. Oh, there we go. Side by side. Katie the Kai goes into the lead. Provisional lead, which I should say. Ahead of Swizzy, who's going to have both more tyres and more fuel. So good luck, Katie the Kai, on that one. It's an ambitious strategy. But they've both got Simrace Dude out in front of them on older medium tyres, who I imagine will be in this lap. So let's stay with this. But Mac in P4, who's got a bit of a gap to the pair of them, 10 seconds, 12 seconds behind, is going to be pushing to try and catch up to the two GTRs with the front tyre wear. I do love that livery with that bronze and black V12. But here we go. Simrace Dude, he knows it's not his fight. Let's Katie the Kai go. Will he stay right? Let Swizzy go as well. Yes, he does. He's playing the long game. He knows he's got nothing to gain by fighting these two, by losing time himself. He knows he is fighting the likes of Pedro and Coach and Deadline, who are behind him. That's smart. That is very, very smart. So let's have a quick look through the rest of the field. But Manley has picked up a half-second penalty, I imagine, through one of the Degners. Oh, Pedro's off! What has happened there? He's got front-end damage as well. Is that through Dunlop? So he's coming through the right-hander, then the left-hander. That's into Dunlop. Gets up on the curb. No, not yet. It must be coming out of Degner 2. So he comes in through Degner 1, down to the Degner 2. Touches the curb, runs wide. Yep, and puts the power down. That is weird. Okay, that was weird from the old replay. Didn't give us the actual event. But there we go, Pedro with front-end damage. So that is going to seriously slow his speed to the end. Will he just pit for a set of soft tyres, get rid of the damage, and go for the fastest lap? But it's definitely going to drop him behind Coach, and maybe even Deadline. There goes Simrace Dude into the pits. No, Pedro's carrying on. Simrace Dude comes out. This is going to be a... No, it's not even going to be a battle. So this would have been for position from Simrace Dude, who would have come out behind Pedro. So that has definitely lost him 4th place. And with Coach on fresh soft tyres behind, Pedro's going to have a very, very tall order on old medium tyres and a damaged front splitter to stay in 5th place. So if anyone can do it, he's going to have faith in himself like we have faith in him. So hopefully he can. But he's going to have the raging bull, the red bull of Coach in that purple metallic livery going absolutely rapidly behind him. But out front, Swizzy has actually gotten into P1. Katie Nakai has had an off. Yep, unfortunately we caught the tail end of it. It seems to have been at the hairpin, so Katie Nakai has dropped it somewhere. That is really a surprise. But now Mac is... Well, Katie Nakai is going to be the victim to Mac at this rate, I feel. It does appear that this race has not been a classic for on-track action, but it's definitely been a race of attrition. Definitely for losing drivers and drivers making mistakes and ending up in the barrier. I mean, first to finish first you have to finish. That has always been the motto. One battle I'm going to be keeping my closest eye on is Sarah and Stephen, who only have 4 laps left by my count. Because I believe they're a lap down. And it's only 5.8 seconds separating the pair of them, with Sarah with brand spanking new Rexy tyres. But I think that has settled the race victory for today. So he just has to cruise to the end. We do have Katie Nakai stealing those couple of points for the fastest lap. But my money is going to be on McManley stealing a P2. If he can only just... Oh, he's pushing very hard through Dunlop there. Let's see that again. I mean, jeez. Let's definitely see that again. So, yeah, coming through Dunlop here, through that left-hander. Goes onto the curb on the inside. And then wide as you dare through the exit. I mean, that was... Whew. I would definitely not have liked to have been in his shorts there, because brown trousers moment, please someone get me some new shorts. So Coach only 6 seconds behind Pedro. Definitely one to monitor. Deadline again on fresh soft tyres. Has he pitted a 3rd time? It must have just been later for this one. And we have Kirk, who is saying hello from YouTube. Hello, buddy. Good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. And pleasure to have you here. Sorry I've not seen many of the messages on the chat this evening. It has been a bit of a trial keeping everything all up together. And hopefully we're giving you a good race to watch. The race has been interesting, Kirk. As you're now on Twitch. At the moment, we've got Katie Nakai out in P2, who is suffering with, we'll just say, extreme tyre wear, but looks like he's going to go to the end. Followed by Mac. If you want my opinion, I think Katie Nakai could pit again, go for a set of soft tyres again, and at least ensure he gets those extra points for the fastest lap. And yes, he did. He went, I think, 14 or 15 laps on extremely dead medium tyres, and unfortunately has had a incident somewhere, I think in the hairpin around about lap 22, and has dropped about 7 or 8 seconds to Swizzy. So it's an ambitious strategy from Katie Nakai, but it worked for him last week. It doesn't seem to be working this week because he's being chased down by McManley on fresh soft tyres in that AMG, which is just looking a little bit evil with that glow with those front lights. But there is a gap behind. I think Katie Nakai could slot into, at least ensure he gets those fastest lap points, but at the moment I don't see anyone who can possibly take it off him unless Pedro decides he can't defend from Coach with his front end damage. I don't know. I honestly don't know. And Kai will be able to defend from Max Softs. He will be able to, whether it lasts very long, I don't think he's going to be... Okay, catching him is one thing, passing is another. However, the person passing him is McManley, and Katie Nakai's wide, going through 130R. And we've seen this before early in the race. Matt just gets a better exit onto the main straight and should just blast past Katie the guy, who is going to go defensive. No, he's not. He's gonna hold McManley there. He's not going to make it easy for him. And yes, Bono, his tyres are dead. But now, Katie the guy will be ruining that spin. However, it was always going to go this way with 3 laps to go. That's strange. He seemed to have slowed down. Okay, that was strange. He's definitely slowed down there. Lost 3 or 4 seconds. Maybe a slight glitch in the matrix. Or a slight glitch in these controls. But maybe we'll see Katie the guy try and slot in between himself and Simrace Dude and try and ensure he gets that fastest lap. I don't see any other drivers because the Genesis High cars are not up to the same speed as the GTR and the AMG this week around this very, very twisty course. But at the moment we do see Coach, this is going to be the battle on track, catching Pedro, and there's a yellow flag somewhere. For an unknown reason, I'm afraid. But we do have Coach catching Pedro at the moment. Let's have a quick look and see what's going on with Sarah at the moment. She is still 15 seconds behind Stephen. Unfortunately, she's had, I think, a meeting with the barrier. She's got some front right damage. So that battle with Stephen, I don't think will be happening. So it looks like Stephen will be winning the 9-11 wars tonight. And Bertie, with those soft tyres, looks like they've just gone on a lap or so ago. Absolutely cracking speed from Bertie. And particularly amazing on the tyres. It would absolutely show. Lee has gone for that alternate strategy of medium, hard, soft. And it's working for him at the moment. He's going to get to the end on those tyres. And so is Deadline. I think has gone medium, medium, soft today. So it does appear that the strategies are playing out, particularly in the final laps. And here we go. We've got Coach on the back of Pedro. Will Pedro fight it? Not particularly hard on this occasion. I think Pedro knows. Oh, both drivers do give it their all through 130R though. But I think Pedro knows with that damage, with those older tyres, it's just not possible. And not even a hint of rain, my friend. Despite all courses in this F1 RST season run on Wednesday nights having all courses which can have rain, we have seen precisely 1 drop of rain in the pre-race before round 2 at Autopolis, and that is all the rain we've seen all season. So thank you GT7 for the consistency, I guess. But there we go. Coach is up to P5 with a good move on Pedro for 130R. I don't think he's going to have time or the pace to catch Simrace Dude, who's having the race of the season, as far as I'm concerned, in that Aston Martin in P4. So Swizzy out front, cracking drive from him. Manley has gotten past, but he's now only going to have to do 1 lap left, 1 lap less rather than what he would have intended. But his tyres are brand new. We can use them at the next round in the Red Bull Ring. But Katie the Kai looks like he decided not to pit again, but he's definitely just going to wind it round for another 1 lap in P3. Swizzy is on the final lap and going through the S's now. But Simrace Dude, absolutely amazing race so far. Yes, and quite right. You're quite right there, Pedro. As far as the championship for P4 stands, Simrace Dude is behind Pedro at the moment, with Pedro actually losing points to him. So that might be a change of position there. So that would be a very good result for our Simrace Dude. So let's have a quick rundown. Swizzy P1, Mac P2, Katie the Kai P3, Simrace Dude P4, Coach P5, Pedro P6, Deadline P7, Lee P8, Big Crazy Bertie P9, Stephen P10, Sarah Hawkey P11, and Nick P12 with retirement, with us losing Koulios through the race. So, any battles on track? Let's have a look, see if we can spot any. Yeah, and you are quite right there, Kirk. The gap between Simrace Dude and Kai has closed, but I feel that the time remaining, Kai has it in the bag. I mean, if it was another 2 or 3 laps, then Simrace Dude would have been through. I mean, it's a risky strategy that KD the Kai chose on a 1 stop on a medium soft combo, and it just hasn't worked out for him in this race. It was ambitious, but unfortunately in this race, compared to the last one, it did not work. So, coming through the 130R for the final time, we have Swizzy into the Casio. Let's go on board. Hitting the apexes nicely. He's an absolute faultless race yet again. And here he comes, coming around the final corner to take the victory. Well done. He's won the round 7 S01-R07 Suzuka race. Well done. And here comes Mac to take P2 in the feature race in that evil-looking AMG. But he's going to be quite happy with that. But maybe not the best strategy tonight, but at the end of the day, solid P2. And what can be said about KD the Kai? Couldn't quite achieve Autonomous Ultra Instinct today, but it will be looking to bring it out again for the final race at Red Bull Ring next week on the 21st. Good race from him all round, ambitious strategy, didn't quite work, but it was good to see, kept me guessing. Simrace Dude will take P4. As far as I'm concerned, absolute driver of the day. Well done, my man. Absolutely well done in that beautiful, beautiful looking Aston Martin. Coach in the Raging Bull livery. Oh, Stephen finishing P10. The coach taking P5. Another great race from him. Pedro unfortunate to lose P5 at the end there with a late spin, followed by Deadline in P7. Again, featured very, very heavily in the sprint race and towards the upper mid-pack of their feature race. Well done, Deadline, as well. A little bit further back, I think the last man on the he's doing this on purpose. I swear he's doing this on purpose. The last man on the lead lap, going for a little spin. Let's see that again. Let's go on board. Coming into Spoon. Hits the corner nicely. Runs wide. Yep, comes back onto the marbles and whoop. Yep, there we go. Well, he's got nobody could pass him anyway. Why not, eh? Come through 130R for the final time. Big Crazy Bertie behind's already finished. So is Steven. So is Sarah Hawkey. And so is Nick, who has stayed in the pits. Unfortunately, for health reasons, which is absolutely respectable. So come around, last finisher of the race, Lee. Well done, my man. Finished the damn race, man. A little bit of a burnout at the end, a little bit of a show off, a little bit of a donut. As in being a donut. If he's not careful, he's going to actually get timed out. But well done, Lee. You got to love a little bit of enthusiasm like that. Well done to all of the racers out there. They've given us quite a spectacle. Quite a lot of different strategic choices, I feel, here today. And definitely something I would not have expected, particularly out front, other than the winner himself. Well, maybe the order. I was expecting at half distance maybe to see KD the Kai pulling a rabbit out of the hat, but not today, I'm afraid. So, Swizzy, as ever, takes the feature race honours here in Suzuka, round 7 of the F1 RST Championship for Nighthawk Racing. Well done, Swizzy, and absolutely brilliant showing here today. And again, shout out to all of the other drivers as well. Well, this is the podium standings at the moment, as in heading into the race. And as we can see, definitely it's going to be shaking up there just a wee bit as far as I'm concerned. As we can see, in P5, we did have Simrace Dude with Pedro in P4. That gap, I think, is going to close with the results of this race. So P4 is still very, very much to play for this for the final race out next week in Red Bull Ring. However, I do feel with that result, I think we may see Swizzy be crowned our first champion, but that is preliminary and that is not added up as of yet. And that's pre-stewarding. So long as he hasn't chosen the wrong tyres for the race, then I'm sure we'll find out in due course. But well done to all of the drivers out there. So let's see the results on screen for today's race, the preliminary race results. We have Swizzy taking the feature win with McManley in P2, Katie Kai in the world's uniquest strategy ever, and hello to Coach who is in the chat as well. And unfortunately, yeah, the start can go a bit awkwardly. It does happen sometimes, particularly when you go down from may have gone wrong, I'm afraid. But at the end of the day, we have Swizzy, McManley, Katie the Kai, Sim Race Dude, Coach in P5, Pedro in P6, Deadline in P7, and Lee in P8, rounding out the top 8. Big Crazy Bertie being the first of the lap downs in P9, with Stephen and 11 with the 911s in P10, and 11 with Nick in P12, unfortunately having to retire due for health reasons. And unfortunately we lost Koulios during the race. And hello to Mac and Swizzy. Good race from you pair during the race. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move over to the podium room. So if there's any of the drivers in the race that want to have a little chat, come and say hello. Drop yourself into the podium waiting room and I'll grab you one by one to go in there. At the moment I do see a McManley in there, so we'll grab him in just a moment. But bear with me a moment while we just go to the highlights while we prepare that. Hello to Mac. I believe we have you in the podium, my friend. Hopefully he's here with us.
Yeah, my Discord is absolutely tweaking right now. I'm trying to join things. There we go. I think I'm fine now. Hello.
Well, we've got you here. Well done in the race, my man. How's your Discord? Is it working all right now?
Yeah, it's fine now. I think it was struggling to connect or something to the VC.
Fair enough. But well done to yourself, and congratulations for the P2, particularly in the feature race.
Thanks. Yeah, it was. It felt good to finally actually be able to keep up with Kai and Swizzy for once. Yeah, it was. Swizzy was still quicker, but I knew after qualifying that it was going to be a good race because it was very, very close qualifying. Like even it was like Coach and Kai and Swizzy and all of us were like within a second. It was quite nice. But yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely great to see all three of you so close in qualifying, and particularly it looked like the strategies were going to play out during the race where you could have been fighting for the win at the end. Did you think your tyre wear was the key factor in this? Because I thought you were going to go for double softs towards the end. So, Do you think you could have gone for double softs, or were you happy with what you did in this particular race?
I actually considered double softs, but honestly, the car, I think, kind of came alive when the tires were actually quite worn, because I think it was really bad on the Nissans. Because whenever it would get to like about 25% tire wear past that, I'd start gaining a bit of time slowly but surely. But I think I saw Swizzy staying on the mediums, and I was like, I want to risk going on the softs and having an issue and then like losing out, or do I just want to do the same thing as Swizzy, which I know will most likely work because it's mediums and they'll last a lot longer. And I decided I'd go with a more safe option.
Oh, bear me a second. I've just got a raid alert coming through. Thank you very much, Sarah, for that. Well, I forgot to turn that down. I couldn't hear the last thing you said there. Can you just repeat the last sentence for me?
I was saying it was more of a safe option to go in the mediums in case something did happen on the softs, that I would still have the tire life. Because honestly, the softs were so strange with the tire life. Sometimes they'd last like 5 laps, and sometimes they could last like 15. So I just wasn't gonna risk it, and I thought I might as well go on the same tires as Swizzy, so that I could kind of pace myself with him and be able to, yeah, just know what's happening really.
Yeah, that's fair, man. I mean, quite frankly, I thought it was a very good showing from yourself, and you had some great moments with Katie the Kai, and could you believe his strategy like I could? Because if you go back and watch it, I was outstanded of completely baffled, rather is probably the better way of putting it, of how long he was out there on those initial medium tyres. I mean, was that something you would have considered, or were you just happy doing what you were doing?
I actually did consider it, and I will say, as I said, the Nissans, I could tell compared to the Mercedes at least. Now, the guys could have felt fine on the worn tires, like the car could have been fine for them, but I don't know. But compared to the Mercedes, the when the tires got past 25%, the Mercedes was way quicker than the Nissan. I think I was gaining a lot of time on Kai and Swizzy, so I did consider staying out, but at the same time, I was like, trying to get like battle for the win with Swizzy. And I was thinking kind of I might as well go with the same thing as him so that I can at least keep an eye on him, I guess. But it
Keep
was a
them on.
consideration because I did feel quite confident on the more worn down tires. Like the car felt in the moment during that period, kind of the start of the race. But there was a few times it was kind of kicking out, and I'm sure the Nissan guys had that as well.
I'd imagine so. But congratulations, my man. That is a very, very good showing from yourself. And I think you've just bagged yourself at least third place in the championship as far as having a quick eyeball at it. And I know you're going to
Yeah,
be hot on the heels of Katie the Kai. So not bad for the literal F1 RST first season.
yeah. I would have loved to be up kind of on the podium a bit more. I've had a few problems in some of the races, but yeah, I wish I could be closer to Kai because I feel like back in what was it, a year ago, GTWC, me and Swizzy used to be having some really good battles, and I haven't really had that this season, unfortunately, because my honestly, this 2020 Mercedes car is very different to the 2016 car I would have driven previously. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. Third, I don't mind a third in the championship, and I don't mind a podium now and then as well. But I think the sprint could have went a lot better because I like someone forgot to brake or something into one of the corners. But yeah,
It happens. It'll be looked at, as you know.
yeah,
Um, all I can say is well done, my man, and we will definitely see you for Red Bull Ring, and I look forward to it, and I'll be there as well. So I look forward to seeing you on track.
yes. See you then.
Perfect, my man. Take care, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, mate. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye bye. Okay, I've now moved Swizzy into the chat. Are you there, hombre? Do we have Swizzy in the chat? I'll just move
Yes, sorry.
Hey, no worries, my man. Good to see you. That was an interesting one, wasn't it?
Yeah, very interesting to be honest.
Were you as worried as I was with Kai's strategy at the beginning of that feature race up to about halfway?
Yeah, I don't remember which lap it was, but I kinda understood what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I just tried to, do all kind of calculations in my head, like while doing the laps, like, when he needs to beat that, he can actually take the soft tires at the end, and like, yeah, I was very confused, and then I just, tried to focus on my own race, and because I knew when he pitted that even though he might have better tire wear than me, but he's definitely gonna lose the soft tires at the end. So I was confident that I could catch him, and unfortunately he spun. I was looking forward to have some kind of fight for the win. Like it's always nice to win, of course, but like it's never fun to win when someone is ahead of you and he does a mistake.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I get you, Matt. I get you. And doing those calculations through the race is something that I think separates a lot of the amazing drivers from the epic drivers. And I know you don't view yourself as an epic driver, but we do. And quite frankly, you doing those calculations as well as racing shows you've elevated your game, and we need to do the same to be on par with you. But quite frankly, that was a very, very good drive, man. And there was nothing ever wrong. You just took it all beautifully, and there was no moments where I thought you were going to go off into a barrier. And quite frankly, you did absolutely perfect in both races, as far as I'm concerned. So absolutely well done to you. How does Red Bull suit you for next race?
Um, I can't really say anything. I have had nice pace on that track in the past, but I absolutely hate it. Like it's fun in F1, but I don't.
Yeah.
It's like penalty paradise. That's how I call it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's very much a Marmite. I know Flawed Genius Gaming, he hates that track. Personally, I love the track, but it's very much a Marmite track, as a lot of people would say. You love it or you hate it. All I can say is, for you though, man, I think you may have tied up the championship on this event today. As soon as we've done the post-race stewarding, you will be the first to know. I give you my promise on that. But honestly, at worst, I think just a casual drive next weekend, and I think you're in the pound seat for the championship. So congratulations so far for the series, and I look forward to see what you can do next week as well.
Thanks. And I just wanted to say on the Suzuka or the last race that I did some practice yesterday, and I was basically going off on every corner. Like I don't know, maybe the settings were weird or something, but like it's never been good track to me. And today I did some practice again, and it actually felt alright. And when the sprint and like the pre-practice on the lobby, like everything, like I don't know what happened, but like I've never driven that track that well without any mistakes or taking penalties. Like I guess I was very lucky today because I really don't know what happened. It felt like that it's my favorite track or something. I don't know, but yeah, props to all the podium guys from sprint and from the feature race, and yeah, it was a nice race, and the adrenaline definitely took my headache off. So I think I need to race more often. It seems.
I hear you, man, and I can definitely say that it's something that I have noticed during some of the practices. That you can be so hooked up around a course, you can think you can come away with the easiest win or podium ever, and then for suddenly the track, under slightly different conditions, to feel like Greece, or in this case, the other way around. So, regardless, I think it's worked well for you, and it was good to see you out there, and thank you for giving us a very, very good race. And again, I look forward to seeing Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, thank you, and See you next week.
Take care, man, and see you soon.
See ya.
Cheers. Right, next I'm going to invite in. We're going to invite Coach in and go from there, and then Stephen at the end, and then we're going to call it a night for the post race. And thank you to Mac who gave us a raid during that, and to Sarah earlier on. So let's invite Coach in. Let's say hello to you, Coach. How you doing, my man?
Hey, Coach. Midnight. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad here. Did you have a good set of races tonight? And thank you for subbing in at the last moment for us, as always. And as I called you at Super Sub, thank you very much, and pleasure to have you here.
No problem. I'm glad I was able to do it. Work's been swamping me, so for me, I'm racing at my lunch hours, so it's a scramble to get going. But I'm glad I did. My practice was terrible. My times were really terrible, but I was able to take care of my tires and gas, and I think that's what helped me tonight. So yeah, it was fun for sure.
That's fair, man. Was there any particular moment of the sprint or the feature that stood out to you, or are you just having fun out there? Simple as that.
No, it did. I was able to pull off a couple moves, in both races, that I was really happy with. I like to go to the replay, and I didn't save the sprint, but I did save the main event, so I'll go back and look. But I did have a terrible start on the main event. I get mixed up, who does what kind of starts, and I messed up and didn't think that you guys were with the false start, so I completely floored it and didn't hold no break, and I barely caught at the end. Also would have been worse, but I think I was P4 and I dropped on all the way down to like P10. I mean, it was bad, but I kept going, and so P5 at the end of that's not that bad. If I kept on, I think I could have gotten P4, P3 maybe. But I mean, who knows?
That's fair, man. I did catch you at the start of the feature race, so I saw you move and stop it just in time. Luckily, but you definitely you got away with it. But at the end of the day, as you say, you made it a little bit difficult for yourself, falling through the pack there a little bit. But you made it work towards the end, and I think you ended up P5. Was it in the feature race, or was it P6?
Yeah, so I was. Yeah, I was one. I dropped one spot overall, but like again, I mean, fighting from 10th, I was happy. So
yeah, that was a very, very good comeback drive, and particularly I could notice there were some cars out there that were suffering on tyre, and that Genesis looked like a little bit of a handful. Was that the case?
it's. I have not competed too much with this car. I'm fairly new to it, and I did find a few ways, and I've been trying to study and ask around about tire saving specifically, especially because of this track and other tracks with other series that I'm running, and that's what I've been working on the most. It does slow your overall lap time down, but at the end, if you run it hard and you accumulate slow times because your tires are bad, at the end you kind of benefit more out of saving, and that's what I've been really working on the most. So I think it paid off a lot tonight, especially in the sprint. I got lucky. I got reverse grid from the points, so I was able to go up front, and everybody else was battling. I just kind of made sure I kept it clean and make sure my tires lasted to the end, and I had more than enough tires and gas. So I mean, I was really happy. But I saw a couple of times they were closing in about midway, and I was like, oh no. But I was
Yeah.
able to pull it off, thankfully.
Yeah, I saw that. I could see you were sort of pacing yourself a little bit in the sprint race, knowing that you did have a nice little advantage with the reverse championship order. Thanks to being one of our super subs, you've inherited that position, but you made it last, and it is not the fact that you started there; it's the fact you made it work that you should be proud of. And
Yes.
Seeing Swizzy coming at you, I mean, I've used the expression a couple of times. Would you rather Genghis Khan coming at you or Swizzy? I'd choose Genghis Khan. So,
Yeah.
so at the end of the day, you made it work and you came away with the sprint win, and it's well deserved. So well done. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you. Hopefully in Red Bull Ring, we'll see what happens with the driver attendance, but at very least for season 2, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I ran Red Bull recently, but it was in torrential rain in the Mazda ND, and boy, that was nuts. So I'm hoping we can run it in some dry. That circuit's really fun.
Yeah, I know from Pedro, he has tested the Genesis in the wet, and the first words were, "Oh God, please don't rain in any of the races." So
Yeah.
so far this has been a bone dry series, except for lap 1 of Autopolis. So
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. I'm like, I keep checking the weather as soon as I log in, and
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I think we're good. I think we're good.
Hopefully it stays that way for you. But thank you very
Yeah.
much, man. I'm going to invite Stephen in, but I've just got one last thing to say to you. Thank you so much for joining this series, particularly at the last minute of what you did, the first race that you joined up for us. And it has literally been a pleasure having you race here. And I, again, want to see you for season 2. So thank you again.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Thank you for hosting and everything.
Anytime, mate. Take care, coach. See you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Stephen.
So,
Hello. How was that for you?
I mean, could have been better, I think. Kind of just lacked pace, I felt, for the most part, particularly on the medium tyre. And then I went to undercut Sarah for the final stint, but then we both made a few mistakes, including me taking damage and running on fuel mode 6 for the final lap.
Ah, that will happen.
Chaotic, as always.
I wouldn't be an F01-R07 race if it wasn't chaotic. But no, well done, man. I genuinely mean it when I say I've seen you improve over the last year or so. We know it's not your favourite type of racing game, with like F1 being more your thing and higher downforce, but you are definitely showing improvement. And it never helps when you're up against the aliens like Coach, Pedro, Swizzy, and Kai, and Mac, and all those sort of guys. But literally, to only be 1 lap down from those guys, I think is a moral victory. So, honestly, well done. Honestly, well done. And we've got another season to come after this, which I'm hoping you'll join for as well.
Yes, I will try my best.
Good man. Any highlights out there, or just having a little battle with Sarah? I think I saw you battling with a couple of guys through the sprint, in particularly. Any particular memories?
Sprint race was definitely a pick of the bunch. Racing Sarah to the line, going side by side for 130R with Sarah on the final lap. So that was definitely a pick of the bunch for me.
I have no doubt Sarah's going to go back and clip that, or at least I will. If anyone has any clips or moments through the whole series, please DM me them, because I'm going to try and build a bit of a collage of some of the best moments. I've just seen you and Bertie having a little bit of a race in the feature as well, Stephen.
We did, yeah.
Yeah. So
I did say to Sarah after the sprint, so I was like, that's guaranteed to go on socials.
And no doubt it will. Otherwise, any particular thoughts or insights from the race, or just happy it stayed dry?
Glad it stayed dry. I was constantly looking at the radar on the last 6 laps. So I was like, here we go. He has the obligatory will it, won't it?
Yeah.
But no, glad it held off. And next time I need to not trundle around on the final. Hopefully.
Oh, that's fair.
I was thinking as well, final lap, if Sarah hadn't made her mistake, she was 100% catching me, because I was so slow, especially how the final lap ended up going. But bless her, she had a little bit of a spin, and that let me off the hook.
Yeah, this track really does. It's a very much a track where it's easy to make a mistake. It's not easy. It's super hard to go quick, but it's easy to make a mistake. It's an old style track, and one we got to look forward to again in the upcoming pre-GP season. So another one for you to look forward to later in the year.
Yeah, I think the one takeaway I think I would take away, and also McManley and Deadline and Batman, because they were on the same ones. We dislike the AstroTurf immensely. It just drags you out off onto the gravel at 130 or wide at turn 1. It's just like,
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah, Max said exactly the same thing. I think it was at Spa. To me, is I want to hire a JCB to go and dig up the AstroTurf. So
I think we need to take it to Japan as well.
I think you're probably right. Right. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to say thank you very much, Stephen, and thank you to the other drivers in the podium room. It's been a pleasure.
It has.
So thank you very much, man. I'm going to catch you later, and I'm going to end that stream there as well. So thank you all, and see you all for... Thank you very much, man. But see you all on the 21st for the next race. And see you in Red Bull Ring. Let's have some fun there. Take care, everybody.